Something unusual happens the moment a missile launch is detected. Radar systems immediately begin tracking a small signal rising above the horizon. At first, it is only a moving point of light on a screen, but within seconds, the trajectory becomes clearer, and suddenly, the defense network must prepare to stop an object traveling at incredible speed. Across several regions of the Middle East, military bases operate under the constant possibility of missile threats. Radar systems scan the sky every second. When a launch is detected, computers begin calculating the missile's predicted trajectory. If the path suggests a possible impact near a base, the defense network activates immediately. Because intercepting a missile is not just about technology, it is about timing. Inside a defense command center, radar operators begin tracking the incoming object. At first, the signal appears small on the screen, but as the missile continues rising through the atmosphere, its path becomes clearer. Computers begin calculating the predicted impact zone, and if that zone overlaps with a military base, the defense system must prepare to respond almost immediately, because speed becomes the most important factor. Once the trajectory is confirmed, the defensive network begins preparing for interception. Launch crews move quickly to ready interceptor missiles. Radar systems continue tracking the target in real time. Because the window for interception is limited, and if the missile travels too far before defenders react, it may become much harder to stop. That is why modern air defense depends on rapid detection and immediate coordination. The moment an interceptor launches, the entire engagement begins to unfold in seconds. Two objects now move toward each other at extraordinary speed. Radar systems continuously update the predicted interception point. Guidance computers adjust the interceptor's path during flight. And high above the battlefield, the distance between the two objects begins to close rapidly. But the outcome of an interception is never guaranteed. High above the battlefield, two objects are now racing toward each other. One is the incoming missile. The other is the interceptor launched to stop it. Radar systems continuously update the predicted interception point. Guidance computers adjust the interceptor's path during flight. And within seconds, the distance between the two objects begins shrinking rapidly. But the success of an interception is never guaranteed. Then the critical moment arrives. The interceptor reaches the calculated interception zone. For a brief instant, both objects occupy nearly the same point in the sky. A bright flash appears as the interception occurs high above the base. On radar screens, the incoming trajectory suddenly disappears. And within seconds, the defensive system confirms that the missile has been neutralized. But even after a successful interception, the situation is not completely over. Radar operators continue scanning the sky for additional launches. Defense systems remain ready to respond again at any moment. Because missile attacks rarely involve only a single launch. And the real challenge for modern air defense systems is not stopping one missile. It is stopping several threats arriving at the same time. Even after the first interception, the situation may not be completely secure. Radar operators continue scanning the sky for additional launches. Sometimes a single missile is only part of a larger attack. New signals may suddenly appear across radar displays. And if multiple missiles are detected, the defense system must prepare to respond again almost immediately. Because in modern warfare, attacks often arrive in waves. When multiple launches are detected, the defensive network must react even faster. Radar systems begin tracking every trajectory across the sky. Command centers must quickly evaluate which targets pose the greatest threat. Interceptor missiles are limited resources, and choosing the right moment to intercept each missile becomes critical. As the situation intensifies, radar operators begin detecting more signals across the sky. Each signal represents a possible incoming threat. Command centers must evaluate speed and trajectory in real time. Interceptor crews prepare additional launches, because stopping multiple missiles is far more difficult than stopping one. Now the defense system begins coordinating several interceptors at once. Guidance systems constantly adjust the flight path of each missile. Radar data updates every second. And high above the battlefield, multiple interceptors move toward the incoming threat. The outcome will depend on whether the defensive network can predict the correct interception point before the missile descends too far. Then the turning point arrives. High above the battlefield, the interceptor finally reaches the predicted interception zone. For a brief moment, both objects occupy nearly the same point in the sky. A bright flash appears as the interception occurs far above the base. On radar screens, the incoming trajectory suddenly disappears. And within seconds, the defense network begins confirming the result. But even after a successful interception, the mission is not completely finished. Radar operators continue scanning the sky for additional launches. Defense systems remain ready to respond again and at any moment. Because missile attacks rarely involve only a single launch, and the true challenge for modern air defense is stopping several threats at the same time. Moments like this reveal how modern warfare is rapidly evolving. Air defense systems are no longer optional protection. They are becoming essential for protecting military bases and critical infrastructure. Because the speed of modern missiles leaves only seconds to react. But this interception also raises an important question. What happens when several missiles arrive at the same time?